The choice we have for cars powered by electricity is now greater than ever. You've got Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Polestar, Audi, Genesis, Renault, Hyundai. The list goes on. Not forgetting the biggest of all, Tesla. Or are they? Welcome to the biggest brand in the world of plug-in hybrids and EVs that you've never heard of. This is the BYD Seal, and last year they outsold Tesla not just by a little bit, but by over 500,000 cars. 500,000? How have we never heard of this? So the BYD Seal has just arrived in the UK, and it's a proper effort. It comes in two different variations, all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. The all-wheel drive gives it a bit more oomph, exactly what you need on a day like today with where we are. 523 horsepower and 0 to 62 in 3.8 seconds. They're so proud of that stat, it's inscribed on the back of the car. We're going to see how accurate it actually is. They've got a timer on the dash in front of me here to challenge the 0 to 62 time, and we're going to put it to the test. You fire through this, put it into sport, lap timer. Foot on the brake. Go! Whoa! 60 in 3.8 seconds on the dot. So even in wet conditions, the BYD does exactly what it says on the tin. And with prices from £45,640, you're getting a lot of pace per pound. So you've got a range of driving modes. You've got eco, normal, and sport. And bear in mind, we're on a track today. Let's get into sport and see what it can do. For an electric saloon, it does feel pretty connected with the road. Very little understeer, massive torque on the way out. You do need to hit the brakes pretty hard when you're coming into this quick right left-hand bend. But it's, yeah, a pretty impressive car. Hard on the brakes into this hairpin, tuck the nose in. This isn't really what a saloon should do. And go, go, go! So we're coming now into a tight left-hander, which quickly turns into a right. And the car, you can feel the car, the back end wants to go, but it does keep you in a straight line. Oh, it's so fun. It's agile for the weight of the car. Doesn't like it on hard braking, but it needs it if you want to make the corner. Oh, I'm used to being on a track in some slightly more exotic cars and cars which handle a little bit better, but you get to grips with this and you learn about how it handles. It's actually a pleasure to drive. The Seal wasn't really designed to be on the track, so let's take it somewhere a bit better suited. I've got to say, I do feel very at home and behind the wheel of this car. In particular, this very nice 15-inch display, which is similar to my Tesla. One thing these guys have done which Tesla haven't, at the flick of a switch, you can turn it from landscape to portrait. That's cool. Bear with. So BYD are a huge company in China, and I mean huge. They're not just responsible for making this car, they actually make half the world's iPads and a fifth of the world's smartphones. They've also been making cars for the last 20 years. So how on earth have we never heard of them? Well, they're only just arriving in the UK now. This particular model, the Seal, is a direct rival to the Tesla Model 3, but also the BMW i4, the Hyundai Ioniq 6, and the Polestar 2, which are all proving to be very popular EV saloons. So how does this stack up? Well, bearing in mind this car's competition is up here, I was a bit sceptical about driving this in particular. I've never got behind the wheel of a BYD. But when you get behind the wheel, the driving position is great. You feel very, very comfortable and actually very connected with the road. The build quality, the stitching, the leather, everything about the cockpit is very, very pleasant. What's even more surprising, how well equipped this car is as standard. You've got this beautiful panoramic sunroof which runs from front to back, heated steering wheel, heated seats, ventilated seats, and the tech is on point. You also get 12 surround sound speakers. Here, let me show you. Pretty good. When it comes to styling, this car was designed by a chap called Wolfgang Egger. The same guy responsible for the Audi R8 and the Alfa Romeo 8C, both iconic and very, very pretty looking cars. But this car looks like they've had inspiration from everywhere. Let me show you.
The Seal is undeniably a good-looking car, and it's achieved this by drawing inspiration from across the automotive spectrum. The headlights echo a touch of the sleek Porsche Taycan. The accents on the bottom carry a flair reminiscent of the Renault Megane E-Tech, and that front end has a subtle nod to the dynamic lines of the Toyota Supra. Move around to the side, the wheels share the kind of design you might find on a Hyundai or a Kia. The door handles offer the seamless integration similar to Tesla. The back end of the car carries a charisma similar to the Mercedes-Benz EQS, giving the BYD Seal a timeless and luxurious feel. And the lights? Salute to the VW ID4.
I mean, inside it's much of the same. There's not quite as much of a theme in here as its competitors. Having said that, the build quality is surprisingly good. The steering wheel, I mean, to me, looks like it's been taken off an Alpine A110. The seats are comfortable, and they, to me, look like they've come out of a BMW. The screen in front of me here feels very familiar from driving a Tesla, whether you want it in horizontal mode, like a Tesla Model 3, or portrait mode, like a Tesla Model S. But overall, in terms of driving position and functionality, everything's laid out in the right position. It's a proper nice cabin. As these cars are developing, they are getting better and better. Even a manufacturer like this that we haven't really seen in the UK much before, it feels proper. Rewind a few years ago and Tesla really was the only option if you wanted something with long range. But there's so many options now. Adding this into the mix makes the electric market even hotter.
The fact that you're getting all of this quality for less money than its main competitors makes the Seal a car you can seriously consider if you're looking for an electric car.
So for EV badge snobs, BYD may not be the go-to car of choice. But based on the track record back home in China, I wouldn't bet against BYD putting a dent in the UK market.